Hey, Central Illinois professionals, do you know where people go to learn more about you? They typically either go to your About Us section of your website or your LinkedIn profile. And guess what the first impression is that they see? That's right, it is your professional headshot. Your headshot is part of your brand. Your brand should proudly show the world how passionate you are about delivering quality products and services to your customers. At Studio 21, you won't get the boring old headshots that everyone else has. When you get photos with Melissa Hardin at Studio 21, your headshots will show off your strength, confidence, and approachability. To book a professional headshot appointment for you and your team, call Melissa at 217-962-0048 or visit www.melissamharden.com. That's MELISSAMHARDEN.com. And let Melissa at Studio 21 help you stand out from the crowd.
Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I'm Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We are your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu is a delicious grapefruit or wildberry vodka-based spirit infused with a Brazilian buzz button. It's smooth, tasty, and leaves you with a signature tingle. Learn more at zambuliquors.com. Zambu, taste the tingle. All right, Central Illinois, today's guest is the owner of True Colors Floral in Springfield, Illinois. Ladies and gents, please welcome Jamie Patarozzi. How are you doing, Jamie?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to learn about your business and your background. But before we do that, we're going to ask you some of our icebreaker questions, if you are ready for those. So what I do,
right.
I'll ask you and I'll ask Garrett. So these are new. Garrett actually hasn't heard a few of these, so he has to answer these as well. Okay. So first question, Jamie, I'll ask you first. If I wrote you a $10 million check today, what would you do with that money?
Oh, that's hard. Well, I just recently got engaged, so I'd definitely make sure I had a really awesome wedding and
Congrats.
what all
That's
my
awesome.
wants and needs. I mean, I would probably donate a little bit of it, and then I'd definitely go on a great vacation.
There we go. I like it. Where to? Where would that vacation be to?
I've never been to Europe, so I'd probably just travel Europe for like a good month and a half.
That's a pretty good answer.
There you
Pretty good
go.
answer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Garrett,
Nice.
you got $10 million. What are you doing with it?
Woo, man, great question. I think first, kind of like what Jamie had mentioned, I'd probably donate, give some to the church as far as that goes. Look for areas in our local community. You know, you and I are both sports guys. I think I would try to figure out a way to help our community here locally with maybe a sports complex or donate or kind of get some things going in that direction for us. And then, like she mentioned, probably a nice vacation. You know, don't ask me to pick. I leave that up to my wife most of the time as far as that goes. So I would probably let her pick and just take the role from there.
There we go. So I was trying to think of this when I found this question. I was like, my answer would probably be similar. I'd try to be generous with it, but I would also do some investing. Like I'd invest in maybe some real estate or something, that would help it grow over time.
Absolutely.
Something fun that you can say, hey, I used $10 million to do this. So
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
Okay, Jamie, second question is, if you could go back in time and live through any historical event, what would you go back to live through?
Oh, well, I have no idea. I am not a history person at all.
That is all
So,
good. It's all good. Or you can
Yeah,
be happy with what you've lived through so far.
yeah. So there's nothing like real, like I guess I'd like to see. That's a good question. I'm stumped on that one.
That's all good. Garrett, what do you think?
That's a tough one too. I'm no history buff as far as that goes. So I'm just going to go like era of like a time to where you could kind of go back and grow up. And if I was going to like say something like that, I think I'd go back to like the 70s,
Yeah.
maybe when myself and your dad would have grown up, the muscle cars. It was just seemed like a fun era back then. Things were loose, a lot different than what they are today. So I think if I was going to do something, I'd say it'd been cool to grow up in the 70s.
I like it. So the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this question was JFK.
Yeah.
If I knew what I know now, and like I could be on the lookout for where the shot came from, I would
Sure.
go back and figure the whole JFK situation out. So we won't go down that rabbit hole on today's episode, but I would go back to the JFK assassination, and knowing what I know today, where the gunshots could have come from,
Sure.
I'd have been ready for it. So I could have been like, now I got the answer. I can answer everyone's questions.
There you go.
So
I think your
okay.
answer is better than mine. So,
well, I had a few minutes to think about it. I just kind of threw it on you guys. So, last question, Jamie, what is your favorite social media platform, and how has that platform or social media in general impacted your business?
I guess I'm more of an Instagram girl, but I'll be honest, I feel like it's not our Instagram platform for Signet or True Colors
Uh-huh.
is not as useful. We're very more popular on Facebook and trending there than
Okay.
Instagram. But I personally like Instagram more. I'm more of just like a picture person, not words all the time.
That's
sure.
fair. That's fair.
Sure.
Garrett, what would you say?
I would probably have to go with TikTok because my attention span is pretty short at the most for most days as far as that goes. So if I'm looking up like ideas, Derek and I are both in the insurance world, and just different things going on in the insurance world, I like to look up, helping, different tutorials as far as drills and things to do with my kids, as far as whether it's baseball, basketball, football. I like TikTok. It's short, right to the point, and it trends and all the stuff that you're looking at. So you're not filled with a bunch of junk most of the time. I kind of like TikTok.
There we go. I've kind of turned on to TikTok recently too. Now I don't use it at all for business right now, but I like it for similar stuff. So the baseball drills, my kid's just getting to the age of where he's starting to want to play, and I'm trying to teach him to catch and throw and hit, and I'm trying to find drills like that type of stuff. And then just business in general, and people might make fun of me, but gardening tips. I do look up gardening tips on TikTok. So
I mean,
I was watching.
I like TikTok. I can scroll for hours. Don't get me wrong, and get lost in them, and I find a lot of useful things, but
Oh yeah,
way too much.
it is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I spent about 30 minutes this morning, 20 minutes on there was a guy that had a bunch of tips for cucumbers, growing cucumbers. So my cucumbers aren't doing too hot for some reason. It's like the easiest thing to grow, and they're doing awful. So I looked up some tips. So I'm going to do a little pruning based off of that guy's recommendations later this afternoon when I get home from work. So
You're starting
anyway,
to sound like an old man now.
I know it. Oh, well, here soon, once the cucumbers start to actually get harvested, I'm going to look up some canning tips on TikTok. So if you were to get into my TikTok, it'd look like a 73-year-old woman was the owner of my TikTok platform. So it's okay.
My TikToks is we have chickens, so it's either about chickens or
Nice.
weddings right now. So
Yes. I like it. I like it. Jamie, now that we've done the icebreaker questions, we're going to give the mic to you. You tell us your story. Tell us about True Colors. Anything that you want to share about your business, it's all yours.
Okay. So, my name's Jamie, obviously. I purchased True Colors 5 years ago. And it was a complete random decision. Me and my business partner just randomly went into it. And my goal was I was going to be like this wedding planner. Cause I've already been in the event world for a long time, and I was going to do like take over more wedding planning, do that, and be a florist as well. And I dabbled in it a little bit. But oddly enough, I am highly allergic to flowers. So, did not know, but I was in the shop for, weeks, and I kept on breaking out. And then like, as soon as I left the shop, I couldn't hear out of my ears. And so obviously being in there, like as soon as I left, I was fine, so that changed my course of action on what I was going to do going forward. So, which whenever, True Colors has been established for quite some time, there was a whole team there. And we, really, it worked out really well. I love flowers. I love playing with them. I have to take a lot of allergy pills when I am playing with them, but now having my full team there and me being on the backside of it is really useful and helpful because if you look at most floral shops, their owner is the best florist, the best customer service, the one that has everything going on in their head, but is also behind the scenes balancing books and doing all the paperwork and stuff like that. And my girls get to go in there, design, really enjoy their job, and not have to worry about any of the stressful stuff behind the scenes. On busy holidays, they just get to literally create. I'm on the phones, I'm routing orders and stuff like that. So even though it was not fun realizing that, I couldn't do what I had planned on doing, it really worked out and benefited, everybody. And our team makes a really great team because of that. Sorry. So yeah, it's great, but it's odd, to be allergic to flowers. So
You want to talk about a little bit of a buzzkill, learning that you're allergic to flowers after purchasing a flower shop. That must have been a little bit of a eye opener or eye closer, I
yeah.
guess, if they are swollen.
Yeah. Thankfully I didn't have swollen eyes, but I would have this awful rash and then I couldn't hear. So I would like leave and I'd be like, what's going on? Like I cannot hear, like my ears would be like so clogged. So it's really random. I don't know. I say I'm allergic to flowers. I never went and got tested because obviously there's so much and it could be a chemical, but all I know is whenever I'm in that flower shop, I can start to not hear if I'm in there for a long periods of time. So, and I always break out in a rash.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We need to reach out to a allergy pill or allergy medicine to be a sponsor of this episode or something.
That'd be great.
So, Jamie, who are your customers? Tell us about your customer base. What type of people are coming to your shop to do business?
Lots of different reasons. Everyday flowers, just because flowers, birthdays, anniversaries. We definitely love our holidays, Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. But we are very big in the wedding world, events, stuff like that. We love weddings and, I hate to say it, we also love funerals. So
Sure.
those are also our customers. But so really, we're a trendier, more modern floral shop than I compare to some of them around. We're a younger team too. And we're always trying to do new things, different things. So everybody's our customer as long as you like flowers or you're not allergic to them. So
Sure. There you
That's
go.
awesome.
With weddings and different venues, what type of radius, you're in Springfield, what type of radius do you normally travel around Springfield or outside of Springfield?
We'll go wherever. We have gone to Peoria for a wedding before, but usually we stay pretty local. Taylorville, Jacksonville, we'll go there, but typically we're not there that often. Usually we're
Gotcha.
there because like we have a personal relationship with
Sure.
that customer. But we stick around Springfield a lot. So, Aaron's, the fairgrounds, Paul's Paradise, places like those.
Yeah.
So an off the wall question, have the cicadas affected flowers this year?
Not us. No.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a good question because I know there's some like landscapers who, had issues with outdoor plants and shrubs and stuff like that. So that would have been rough.
Yeah,
For
since
sure.
we get all of ours, wholesaled in from out of the country, we don't
Okay.
have to deal with
Gotcha.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't grow anything local.
That's
Nice.
good. That's good.
Mhm.
So you mentioned you and your business partner just kind of decided to buy a floral shop. What was it that you're like, I think this is a good opportunity? What kind of sparked the interest to get into the flower business?
So, I run a company and my business partner is my boss at Signature Event Rental. And
Okay.
here we do tables, tents, chairs, outdoor weddings, festivals, and stuff like that. And we worked with a company called Five Flavors Catering before it had retired. So we were doing this big weddings, higher end wedding, and I was doing wedding planning as well. So I would come in and meet these brides and grooms and work on their events with Signature and Five Flavors. And then I would start planning their weddings and be like their day of. Well, one other avenue was flowers, that I people had asked, like, can you make these centerpieces for me? And I did it. And then True Colors came up for sale, and it kind of just like fell into our laps.
Yeah.
So that's where we're just going to kind of launch me at and go that direction. But that didn't launch like we wanted, not that we wanted it to. It really, my plate was getting really full with everything. So, and it worked out really well because now I'm able to do, signature True Colors and other things. So
Yeah. So it just kind of rounded out your portfolio being in the event space already. It just seemed like a great fit to get in to add that offering to the table.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, True Colors has been a staple around Springfield for quite some time. I believe it's been around for probably like 12 or 13 years. The third owner. So it's it's just been around, so people know True Colors, and we do produce great work. So
yeah,
awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
And I know you had mentioned before we started, you guys are transitioning into a new location.
Correct. So
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, but last year we found out the school district was going to eminent domain our location, which means they were taking it from us. And we did get paid a little bit to help us with the move and remodel. So we found a spot downtown Springfield, on Fifth Street, right across from the old state capitol. It's a beautiful location. And it was great because we got to really like make it exactly what we wanted it to be. And we have a beautiful space. Moving is not fun. Dealing with permits in the city is definitely something I never thought I'd have to deal with. But we made it through. There were tears. And we moved in October of last year. So we just went through our holidays, Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, in the new space, which was a little bit of a challenge because, we were so organized with our old space now, working with the downtown traffic, businesses and stuff like that, and having such heavy deliveries. And now we are, I won't say fighting, but dealing with how to operate as a downtown business when there's downtown festivals. So on Mother's Day, the Fat Ass 5K was going on, so we had no access to our location on that Saturday. So we did lose the traffic that we normally get with that walk-in traffic because of the Fat Ass. And then like this weekend, we had a huge wedding and we had the log festival going on, so we had no access to our front door. So there are some challenges moving downtown, but there's a lot more positives of that random walk-in traffic that we did not receive at our old location, because you were only going to our old location if you wanted flowers, not just because, there's a flower shop.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned several challenges already that you've had to overcome. One, being allergic to the product that you're selling. Two, moving locations and, dealing with all the new stuff that comes with that. What would you say, maybe it's one of those two, what's the biggest challenge or one of the challenges you've had to overcome throughout this business, and how did you overcome those challenges?
I mean, I feel like my biggest challenge is finding our team, like and really trying to find florists that like we all work together with and really enjoyed each other. And I feel like overcoming, I'm very laid back. I'm not like a crazy person. I mean, I say that maybe, but the other people think differently. But working together, like finding our team, it did take a little bit to find a group that really works together and we really enjoy each other and that we all feel a need in our group. Right now it's me and Kendi and Bethany. Kendi and Bethany are my main florists. They've been with me now for 2 years. We have a part-timer, Keisha, she's there as well. We all really complement each other and work as a team. And I think that was the hardest thing, because in the beginning, coming in as a new owner and a new business person, really not knowing much about the flower world, to a group of girls that have been in that, it was a really big adjustment and it wasn't the easiest to transition into. And then really just, going through interviews and having people work with you, because flowers are not something you can just like teach, or want, you have to like want to learn that industry. And it's it's something that's dying. It's a dying art. There's not, whenever we first, like, florists were all around back, 10, 15 years ago. Now they're not as popular as there used to be, because the, grocery store florists have taken over too, which, no hate on them. Everyone needs them as well. But, they dive into like, they can just get cheaper flowers than we
Sure.
can.
Yeah.
And they have more consumers coming through there just to buy a random bouquet. But yeah, really just our employees, and they are what make us successful, because without them, we would be nothing. I mean, I can't be in there making flowers. So
Sure.
I owe
Sure.
everything to them.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
probably one of my hardest things.
yeah, I will speak from experience. I don't buy my wife flowers enough, probably, but when I do, when I walk in, they're like, "Well, what do you want?" And I'm like, "You tell me. Here's the budget range of what I'm thinking. I want, some bright colors." And they ask questions, and I'm like, "I know nothing about flowers. You throw this
Yeah.
thing together, and I'll be good to go as far as that." So, yeah, the
Yeah.
creativity part of it, I would struggle with that. That's something that. What about you, Derek? Think you could throw a bouquet together?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've
Yeah,
it's
you're
one
a
of my
gardener, so
it's
I mean, are
it's
you
one of
looking
the
up on
skills I
TikTok?
have. I'll throw it in with the cucumbers and pumpkins, and it's a hidden talent that I've got that no one knows about. No, I agree. It's not my forte, I would say. But so speaking on the employee side of things, is there anything that you do? And we ask the same question to most of our guests, and HR related, employee related issues are probably the number one thing that are talked about, as far as being the biggest hurdle. So do you do anything to like attract or maintain or retain your employees, like anything special as far as like, I don't say benefits, but what do you do that is unique that you feel your employees appreciate that helps them stay with your company?
Um, I really let them, I don't want to say do what they want, but do what they want. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, if they want to do this event, we do it. If they don't want to, you know what I mean? If I come with an idea and they're like, and I really want to do it, but they're like, Jamie, this isn't something that I think is going to be great for us, then I listen, and I, allow them to stick up for what they want or don't want to do. Where I feel like in some cases it's like, no, whatever the boss says, go,
Sure.
I do treat them to Starbucks a lot.
Nice.
So, but it just, having lunch with them, we're working together. They know that my office is always open. They can come and talk to me about anything, and everything. And we'll, like, we're a really great little family,
Mhm.
like, and we work with each other. We understand each other's like quirks and stuff. But I mean, just, I'm really laid back. So that's one of my, I think, like, a great thing for me is that, like, they know whenever I mean business, but usually I don't have to like get like, we have to do it this way or that
Sure.
way, because everyone just works together well. So my biggest employee issue is my dad. He is retired, and he is our delivery driver, and he is the most annoying employee I have. So
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Great.
yeah,
good.
That's
yeah,
That's
great.
good.
Well,
Well,
that sounds like positives. Open lines of communication, it sounds like, is huge for you. I know,
Mhm.
Derek, with a lot of our guests, I feel like, to keep your employees, you've got to have an open line of communication and let them have a little say so about the good and the bad so everybody can be on the same page. You'd
yeah.
mentioned earlier that you were big on Facebook for your business. You think you
Mhm.
mentioned you were growing on Facebook. Looks like you have
Mhm.
about 2,300 followers on your Facebook page. Tell us how you're growing that and trending in a higher direction.
um I hired Gemma.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we are not like, we try to post frequently, but in the social media world, I'm not good at it. That's probably one of my insecurities. I hate posting online. I hate doing reels. But I have to do them because, we have to.
Sure.
But I just get so insecure of like how I sound or what I'm going to say or misspelling a word. But now, I mean, that's our next hurdle, is to grow that number and to keep getting, more followers and stuff like that from where people see us. But I don't know how we're gonna do it. Brainstorm with Gemma. So, but working, just posting all of our stuff.
Sure.
I if looking at the other shops around, or just other florists and seeing what they do and trying to, just post our most beautiful arrangements and talk about stuff that people don't know about flowers and
Sure.
just be
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. So you also said that you are newly engaged, or I guess newly engaged, and we can see the
Yes.
rock on your finger. So
Yes.
you've had a lot of experience with event planning.
Yes.
Is it like, how obsessed have you been, and what have you been doing to plan your event?
We officially started setting dates. But I guess it seems really easy to me. Like, I know what I want, and he is completely fine with what, we do. But yeah, I don't know. Since I've been in it, it's not really stressful to me.
Yeah.
It's just like booking everything and the cost of it, because I actually, the most stress about it is everyone says, we can't wait to see what your wedding's going to look like. It's going to be crazy. And so having that stress of trying to make a beautiful thing, but also like I'm, 34, so we want to invest in our home and, remodel that. So it's really hard for me to want to spend, a lot of money on a wedding
Sure.
whenever we have a house that we want to remodel and stuff like that. But wedding planning is going. We are actually going to book the venue next week.
Cool.
And I had to like reel myself in because I thought about going to like Peoria and booking a venue, but all of my connections are here. So it's really hard for me to want to spend that additional money and lose out on the relationships I have in Springfield with vendors and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, that's awesome. That's
Nice.
exciting. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I can speak. I didn't have hardly any say so in my wedding. I kind of, it was one of those things. I know my wife was stressed out about it.
Mhm.
I'm like, you just do what you want. I need to know what time to be there and where to be and where do I go get fitted for a tux. That was
Yep.
it. So Derek, you
Yeah.
probably planned your whole wedding. I mean,
I did.
Your
Again,
wife is not a planner at all, right?
Well, going back to my skill with flowers, I created all the arrangements, and my biggest issue, I will tell you, maybe this is a good tip for, your fiance and anybody out there that is getting married, just to keep this in the back of your mind. The hardest issue for me was it came time for creating the guest list. And my wife's like, you have to narrow it to this many people. I'm like, well, which one of my friends am I going to upset now? They're not going to get invited to my wedding. So that honestly was the most stressful for me, because I'm like, I got more people in this than I want to invite. Like, we don't have enough people. We need to expand this list a little bit. And obviously you can't, but that was the toughest for me. And it was probably like the only job I had was to create my guest list. I did go to the food tasting at the venue, and I picked my two favorite dishes, and those dishes were thrown out and replaced with what my wife wanted. So, which is fine. I ate it and I was happy. But yeah, the toughest for me was narrowing down the guest list. So you might use that. You can keep that in the back of your mind for your fiance.
Our guest list is pretty, I think also because I'm older and it's pretty small. I mean, I think we're gonna have like a max of like 125. So
Okay.
that's that wasn't too hard. But also since I've been in the wedding world, I know how much, everything costs. And so it's
Sure.
like my rule of what I've always told bride and groom, it used to be $75. If you were okay with giving this person $75 and walking and never, you know what I mean, not wanting it back. Now it's like $200.
Yeah.
But that's like my rule of thumb. Like, so if I'm okay with just
Yeah.
giving this stranger or this person $200, because that's not how much it costs for a person to be there anymore with the everything. I mean, that's
Sure.
a little high, but it gets expensive. So
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
yeah.
I agree. Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, Jamie, believe it or not, we are at the 30-minute mark.
Oh, good.
So before we jump off of here, is there anything else that you would like to share about your business with our listeners?
No, just come and see our new space. It's really pretty. We really love it. It's very pink. And we can make flowers for anybody with whatever price point they want for any reason. And just because flowers are the best flowers for your wife, for your friend, and even if it's just a $10 single bouquet, it still puts smiles on people's faces.
Awesome.
Nice.
And tell us again what the address is.
3 West Old State Capitol Plaza, Suite 1.
Perfect. And do you happen to know your phone number off the top of your head?
Yep, 217-787-7919. And our website is truecolorsfloralartistry.com.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Well, for all you loyal listeners, make sure you subscribe to the CIBL podcast on your favorite podcast platform. While you're there, leave us a review. You can also find us on social media, mainly Facebook and LinkedIn. You can connect with Garrett and I there personally as well. Until next time, Jamie, you've officially been civilized. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL Podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.
What's up, Central Illinois? You know what you all need? Y'all need some CIBL podcast swag. And thanks to our newest sponsor, Jedco Sales, you can now find our swag at CIBLmerch.com. You can find t-shirts, sweatshirts, polos, hats, and more, all classically adorned with our famous CIBL podcast logo. If you want to represent and support your favorite podcast, check out CIBLmerch.com. That's CIBLmerch.com. If you like our store, you can also build your very own business swag store with the help of Jedco Sales in Effingham, Illinois. Jedco is owned by previous CIBL guests, Andrew and Laren Dial. They've set up a special discount offer for CIBL guests and listeners to set up your very own custom branded swag store. You can now offer branded apparel to your employees, customers, and fans, and Jedco will fulfill all the orders for you. Contact Jedco at sales@jedcosales.com. That's sales@JEDCO sales.com, and tell them that Garrett and Derek sent you. Let Jedco help you get noticed.